Hola everybody and welcome to round 7 of the Intelligent Money British GT Championship, held here from a sun-drenched but slightly windy Autodromo do Algarve, otherwise known as Portimao. We've got a 33 car grid pretty much evenly split between GT3 and GT4 and a busy pit lane to go and see what's new. So we might as well start right here with scrutineering, where we've got Optimum's McLaren GT3 and the Greystone car just in there getting its own technical checks. Moving on, we are coming into Race Lab with Ian Campbell and James Kell in the first GT3, Lucky Kera and Ewan Hankey in the second one, and then the GT4 Pro-Am entry of Ian Goff and Tom Wrigley. Could be one to watch this weekend, as the longer 3-hour races do tend to favour the Pro-Am teams. Coming down conveniently, we've got our runaway championship leader. Thankfully, it's not running away right now, but Jack Brown, and Charles Clark can well wrap up the GT4 Championship with 2 full rounds still remaining if results go their way and they win this weekend. Back into GT3 land, we've got Ian Loggie's distinctive D2 liveried Mercedes AMG, but a change for this weekend. A clash with IMSA means we've got no Jules Gounon, but we do have a super sub in the form of Phil Keane. Incidentally, Phil Keane holds the outright GT4 lap record for this track, having set it at the wheel of a Ram Racing Mercedes AMG GT4 in the 24 hours here last year. He won that race, incidentally, alongside, you guessed it, Ian Loggie. On to our championship leaders, James Cottingham and Johnny Adam. They've got some compensation time to spend in the pits this weekend, but with 3 hours to make up the deficit, you can't rule that car out. Moving straight on, we've got the first of our Ginetta garages. Toro Verde's car's looking great in the sun today, going well in testing as well. And then follow me up the pit lane, past one closed garage, 2. Actually, that closed garage is 76's Mercedes AMG, which we've seen on track already today, but had a slight mishap in testing 2. We'll be back out tomorrow, we believe. We are sharing some garage space this weekend with our friends from the Fanatec GT2 European Series. That's a couple of the new Mercedes AMG's GT2s. Very exciting cars. Moving on, we have got track-focused Mercedes AMG GT3. Been going well with James Wallace and Chris Hart at the wheel. One Motorsport have given up for the day. They've headed for the beach. Don't blame them. Weather's pretty good. Then we have the number 15 Mercedes AMG. If you just poke down, you can see John Ferguson and Raffaele Marciello's car. Obviously winners from the last round at Snetterton. They have got the maximum compensation time to spend in the pit stops. However, Lello has done very Lello things and topped both test sessions so far today. Our racing Aston Martin, Josh Miller and Seb Hopkins, that bounced back to form at Snetterton. And then to Beechdean AMR, where we've got another change this weekend. As usual, Andrew Howard in the hot seat, but another casualty of the IMSA clash. Ross Gunn is not here this weekend, so instead we've got none other than Nicky Team. We have got a strong subs bench on this championship, telling you, a strong subs bench. DTO's McLaren looking to bounce back again after a difficult Snetterton, but always quick. 2 great drivers. On to Century Motorsports, trio of BMWs. Carl Cavers and Lewis Plato took the lead of the GT4 Pro-Am class last time out at Snetterton, and then on to Chris Salkeld and Michael Johnston's lovely purple-hued car. And this next car could easily be one to watch for this weekend. Century Motorsport BMW M4 GT3 of Dan Harper and Darren Lung. Only a few points behind Cottingham and Adam in the championship, but no compensation time to spend in the pits this weekend, and it has looked fast. On to a few lurid looking KTMs. They certainly catch your eye down this busy pit lane. Once again with the GT2 series this weekend. And then we come back to British GT land, if you like. We've got the Sky Tempesta McLaren. Runaway Silver Ram Championship leader in GT3 with Kevin Say and Chris Froggatt. And then we come to another one of our new entries for this weekend. Same car with Garage 59, But this time around, pro driver Marvin Kirchhoffer is joined by local racer Miguel Ramos, a former Italian and Spanish GT champion, also raced in FIA GT1, so he knows what he's doing. Next up, we have Team Parker, or is it Team Parker? This weekend, Team Parker's Porsche is not to be seen. We have an Elite Motorsport McLaren Artura in there instead. This is a new partnership between the two teams after a slightly troubled time with the Cayman. So Dan Vaughan and Zach Meakin have got a new mount to play with this weekend. They could be ones to watch. Greystone GT we already saw, down to one car, Andre Borodin and Ollie Webb down at Scrutineering. Optimums, we saw both of those cars. There's a lovely fan. You could say they're Optimum's biggest fan in there. Bumps. Trying to avoid. And then we've got Enduro Motorsport, all changed this weekend at Enduro. The McLarens are nowhere to be seen. Instead, we've got a Mercedes AMG GT4 for Harry George and Darren Burke. And then in the GT3, we have got Matt Topham returns for the team, but this time he's back in an Aston Martin. And every ounce of my being wants to say that that is Topham and Darren Turner, but it's not. It is Enduro Motorsport's own Marcus Clutton alongside him. So we'll see how they go in Topham's new toy in GT3 this weekend. On to Paddock Motorsport. The GT4 car of Tom Rawlings and Kavi Jundu. It's looked fast all season, but hasn't quite had the luck so far. It will be hunting its first GT4 Pro-Am podium finish this weekend. And the GT3 of Mark Smith and Martin Plowman. Now, since that car had its differential and gearbox refreshed at Silverstone, it has gotten faster and faster. They've been knocking on the door of a top 6. Will they get it in Portugal? We shall see. Academy Motorsports brace of Ford Mustangs, Matt Cowley and Eric Evans and Matt Nicol-Jones and Will Moore. That's the car closest to you. We've got a very tasty GT2 Porsche. Do need some Porsches back in this championship. We need to get a couple. In there are, stick your camera under and see what we can see. In there's a trio of Audi R8 GT2s. Fantastic looking machines. Back into the sunlight, welcome back. Moving on, we have got Raceway Motorsports brace of Ginettas. Freddie Tomlinson and Stuart Middleton in the 56, and a change in the 55. Tom Holland is now joined by Ignacio Zanon, who steps up from the Ginetta GT5 Challenge to make his British GT debut this weekend. We've got one more Audi, you can see this one in the wild. That's another GT2 entry. And last but certainly not least, Barwell Motorsport. Now these guys know how to run a 3-hour race. Great record at Silverstone and the longer Donington races. They will be ones to watch this weekend. That is the car of Mark Sampson and Will Chigurtha. And then on the other side of the garage, you have got Sandy Mitchell and Sean Balfe. And that brings us to the end of our Rapid Pit Lane tour. Don't forget, we are live all weekend via the GT World YouTube channel for qualifying on Saturday and the 3-hour race on Sunday. And don't worry, Portugal shares a time zone with the UK, so all of these times exactly the same as at home. So don't forget to tune in for the race and qualifying, and we'll see you there.